Realistic poppy flower painting tutorial with watercolors. Join me in this beautiful painting process of creating poppy flower. An outline drawing is done, which is available for download. Link is down below. With an elastic eraser, I'm removing the excess amount of graphite off the paper, so we don't have some graphite marks which can be disturbing in watercolor painting. I'm using Faber-Castell elastic eraser, which is a very long lasting. This one particular is already from January of this year. Now we can start color mixing, adding water to my color palette and starting with Indian yellow. I have my reference right beside you, adding Sennelier Red for very warm red rich color. Second mix, adding Sennelier Red, a little bit of Indian yellow, and I'm adding Perylene Maroon. I need to create more richer, more vibrant red color mix for those halftones. Third one is Perylene Violet for those dark and shadow mixes, adding a little bit of Sennelier Red, a little bit of more, and little touch of Indian yellow to get warmth to this color mix. Fourth mix is Indian yellow with a touch of lemon yellow. Adding separately lamb black, sap green, little bit of yellow mixed to the sap green, and also adding a little bit more of lamb black for more darker color and a little bit of sap green to that black color, so it's not completely plain black. Now we can start painting. To paint poppies is slightly different than the usual flowers that I do. Method is that I start with those crispy looking shadows which are different folds on the petals. If you look in the reference photo, which is right beside me, and I also suggest for you to open the reference just beside the tutorial or on iPad or on iPhone, so you can really zoom in that area that I'm painting to follow along what I'm doing, not just blindly follow tutorial, but also take a look at the reference. Do you see what I see? Do you see those color tones, tonal values? And now I'm with a finer tip brush with a darker mix of Perylene Violet, Sennelier Red and Indian Yellow. I'm applying those folds that are visible on the reference. It's slightly different approach, and it maybe looks strange at the beginning that those lines are so crisp and obvious. Stay tuned, you will see how it later will work out just fine. I'm not recreating 100% the same folds that I see in the reference. I get the characteristics look of these folds and I recreate them on my own, adding some artistic movement. Don't make them very similar. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. No, try to apply them very differently in a different thickness, how one is longer, one is shorter. Take a look at the reference, really understand how those folds are being created on this beautiful poppy flower. Going further, constantly looking and checking the reference. Yes, I'm doing many things here on my own because I don't feel that it is necessary to completely do the same folds as they appear on the reference, but still I need to follow the reference for guidance, which petal, which corner of the petal is darker, which is lighter. I'm not just assuming something that, oh, this petal is like that, and then just go and paint without thinking. I'm constantly thinking what I'm doing, each brush stroke, even that these folds are from my imagination, but I follow the guidance that I see in the reference. For example, this petal that I'm doing right now, it is in the shadow on the right side, and then it goes completely exposed to the light on the left side. So I need to take that into consideration, and my folds are more obvious on the right side because they are in the shadow, and they are smaller and thinner on the left side, the side which is completely exposed to light. My brush strokes are different. Sometimes I place my brush straight, just the tip of the brush, and sometimes I place the brush almost parallel to the paper and make a brush stroke on the side of the brush. Very small amount of water is on my palette, as you can see, and on my brush, so that these folds on the petals are very crisp. They're not floating with lots of fluids on it in those folds. Really doing this completely differently than usual, but this is really enjoyable and the result will be worth it. It is always good to try new techniques, new approaches. Poppies can be painted also differently. We can start first with the background color and then apply folds. I'm just showing you other methods, how to start, how to approach your painting. Experimenting is a must, because the more you experiment, the more you try different teachers, mediums, approaches, techniques. That way you will find your own voice, your own style, which suits best for you, techniques which are most best for you. I never say that my approach is the best, the right one, or the easiest one. That is my approach, how I paint. I also found it through different teachers, through different online courses a long time ago, and also just painting on my own references. And with the mix of that all information, I'm looking for my own voice, for my own approach, and I'm enjoying, and I'm still trying something new, testing new materials or techniques. I always suggest to my students, try and experiment. This is the best way to find what suits best for you. Here I'm applying shadow area for the petal, using the same watercolor mixes that I have on my palette from the beginning. Now, with the round and synthetic brush of Sennelier Red and Indian Yellow, quite transparent amount, more water than usual, I am going over all the area of the petals. I'm not watering the surface first as I usually do. I'm going straight with wide brush strokes. Now I'm adding finishing touches to this poppy flower. I really enjoyed this tutorial. I really enjoyed creating this tutorial for you and recording and editing it. Hope you learned something new. For me, this was a whole new experience with poppy flower. I painted a very similar one last year and this one this year, and I'm really happy with the result. It looks completely different, but more lifelike. Thank you for being here. Hope you learned something new, and see you in my next tutorials. Bye bye.